Hi everyone, welcome back to DIY Everything. Today I am making a canvas leather tote bag and I'm making it out of some leftover canvas and some leather scraps I had left over. So the canvas you see is probably about 24 inches long, and the leather that you will see, it's about maybe 12 inches long. So what I'm doing here is taking the two-sided tape and putting it down on the ends, and I'm going to fold a seam over. The seam is about a half an inch, and that is just to keep the seam down when I start to sew, and you'll see a little bit later on when I start sewing those down. And also in the video, you will see that I also sewed the other two sides. Just do the two short sides. The long sides, do not sew those down. Do not make a seam on those. I messed up and I had to deal with it. So just to let you know, do not sew the long ends lengthwise. Do not sew those down. Just sew the sides down with a half-inch seam. Here I am measuring the length of my canvas leather, and it's 24 inches. What I'm doing is just making sure I'm getting the center of the piece of canvas. So the center point is at half of 24 is 12. So what I'm doing is just putting a mark in the middle and on the left side, so I can know where to place my leather. That would be the bottom of the bag, of the tote bag. You will see a little bit later how that all comes together, but you want to get your center point to make sure everything is equal and very centered. Here, I'm working with my leather now. That will be the bottom of the tote bag. Here, what I'm going to do is do the same exact thing that I did with the canvas. I'm going to mark my center point, like I did on the canvas bag. And what I'm going to do is fold down each side of the leather about a half an inch as well. I'm going to place my two-sided tape down as well, so when I sew that, the seam will be held down so I can sew easily. Also, make sure that you have, once you put the two-sided tape on, make sure you flip it back over to where it's right side up, that part where the leather, the actual leather is showing. Just want to make sure I tell you that. Make sure it's when you get your half-inch seams taped down, make sure you flip it back over, because once you sew it, it need to be right side up with the leather showing you, the leather facing you. Here, now we're going to sew all the sides down where you made the half-inch seam. Just sew it all down and we're on to the next step. Here, we're going to now work with the scraps. Once you cut your scraps out from your leather, you're going to make the scraps however long you want it. My scraps, I just had some leftover scraps, so as you can see, the scraps are about maybe 10 to 12 inches, maybe 10 inches long. So you can make your scraps small, medium size, or large size. I wanted to make them large to where I can just throw the bag up over my shoulder, but I didn't have enough leather scraps, so I had to make do with what I had. So, but you can make your scraps from anywhere from what I did, maybe 10 inches to 15 inches to 24 inches. It all depends on how you want to hold your bag. I love bags I can put up on my shoulder, so it was a bummer that I didn't have um, some extra um, long length leather, but I had to make do with what I had. And also, what I'm doing is also putting some two-sided tape, just maybe an inch on the ends of the leather scraps. Um, and I also, if you can see, um, where I I curve the ends of where my fingers are. I curve the scraps. I just cut out a little curve, as you can see, to give it a nice little definition for the scraps. But what you're gonna do, since you're putting the two-sided tape on, you're gonna sew those down, and you want to make sure you put your scraps about maybe an inch or half an inch to an inch from the ends, and make sure you flip your handles the correct way, because you don't want to sew it and have to take them right back off, because see me I'm playing with it to make sure once I sew it down, you pick the bag up, the scraps will be shown correctly when you pick the bag up. So just make sure you have that all situated before you sew it down, or you have to take the seams out and start over. Now back to the sewing machine again. Um, I am sewing the scraps onto the canvas bag. And also, I'm going to be adding some leather to the ends of the sides of the bag, just so on the inside, when you look down in the bag, it won't be so ugly, and you can see the frilling of the canvas. So I put some leather on there. You can leave it or you don't have to do what I did, but I put some leather on there just to make it a little bit pleasing to the eye when you look over at the bag, and you don't have to see all those screens inside your bag because canvas will frail. So if you don't have leather, you can use another piece of cloth of the same color just to hide it. But you don't have to. It's just me. I wanted to, make sure it was a little pleasing to the eye. Now, next you can see where I have some paper holders to hold the ends of my fabric down. Here you will see the paper holders. That's where I will put the leather to sew that across. I don't know if you can see, but the little black part in there, that's the leather for the bottom of the tote. But put the leather on the other side that meets the leather on the bottom of the tote. But you'll see as I sew it, you'll see what I mean when I construct it. Right here, you can see the leather that I added, and where I stopped it. I did it like halfway down the bag, down the seam. So I just went back and sewed the sides down. I went down that leather about twice back and forth because it got a little bit thick in there with the canvas and the leather, and the piece of leather scrap. So I sewed it down twice to make sure it had a good hold. Here, what I'm doing now is measuring, where I'm going to sew across. It's like the corners of the bag. Once you stand a bag up, it need to stand flat. Well, sit up flat, I guess. What I'm doing is measuring about 2 inches across, and I'm going to draw my line across the bag. It's almost in the shape of a triangle, but I'm measuring 2 inches across. You have to really press the cloth down and make sure your side seam is pressed flat because you're going to have to sew across that. And it has a little hump in it, so try to press that down as much as you can. You see, I have my ruler there to where I'm pushing it down. So when I mark it and draw my line across there, I know where to sew my seam. The line is just so you have a guide to where you sew your seam across. But I will show you in a few minutes how that looks on each side and how I sewed that down. But just make sure you press it really hard to flatten it out and make sure that you don't have your bag crinkled as you sew. Very important. Make sure you don't have it crinkled when you sew across. Okay, now that I'm finished sewing, you can see my seam and where I have it pressed down because I had to sew across that line. And I did that on both sides. Now you would take your scissors and cut a lot, almost about 1 to 2 millimeters away from your seam, and you will cut across just to get the excess off, because when you turn your bag inside out, that's how it will stand and hold up straight. So make sure you be careful and make sure you're about 1 millimeter or so away from that seam. Be sure not to cut that seam. So once you turn the bag inside out, you would see that it will stand up. Now that was it, guys. It's a couple of steps, not too hard. I can do it a little bit better with straightening my seams, but overall, it was a great little project. Oh, also, um, I'm going to show you that I am going to put my initials on it, and I just took some stencils, the alphabet stencils you can get from the dollar store, and I traced my initials out, put them on the middle of the bag. I wanted to kind of sew them, but I'll do that on my next project that I'll do. I'll sew around it to make it look very nice, like a almost like a monogram. But you will see how I'm doing that here in a few. Here you can see that I finished putting my initials on the bag just to give it a little pizzazz, to make it look a little bit nice. So I hope you enjoyed the video and thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe and comment. Let me know what you think about the bag. Um, I hope you make one yourself and try it out to see how it goes. I hope my video helps to get you started. And overall, it wasn't a bad little project. It took me about 2 hours. I did take some breaks in between, but it wasn't a long project. It was a fun little project. So thank you all for watching. Please, please subscribe. If you're liking my videos, please subscribe. So thank you, and I hope to see y'all on the next video. Stay tuned.